I had to limp it here from my house, which is thankfully only a mile away, but that was a harrowing experience. My hood is being held up in an extremely scientific manner. While I know that that's grasping at straws, I'm going to just try it one last time. As I just demonstrated here, and as I've been witnessing for the last few months, I don't think this engine wants to live anymore. Hello viewer, welcome to Skelly's Garage. My name is Sam, and this is the Grey Lady, a 2006 BMW X5 with a 3-liter engine, 434,000 kilometers on it, and a very unique trait, a 6-speed manual transmission. Now, if you're joining us for the first time, I bought this car about 3 years ago and put around 50,000 trouble-free miles on it, relatively speaking. It was only in the fall of last year that I started having problems with it. I was having random misfires, a lack of power, just things were not going well. And so I went on a long path of diagnostics, a lot of which you can see in this playlist. But here's the thing, none of that's worked. And it's really frustrating because I found a lot of things that were wrong. I've done a lot of tests, but I can't get this thing to run right. In the last 100 miles or so, it's gotten significantly worse. I had to limp it here from my house, which is thankfully only a mile away, but that was a harrowing experience. Now I am arrived at the point where I think it's time to do some of the tests that I did initially again. And so now that we have this excellent space, it's time to do some excellent work. Let's get started. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to vacuum all this out because it was under a tree. And I'd like to fix that. As you can see, I've already put the hood into service position, which is rather easy. Disconnect the clips that hold the gas shocks of the hood in place, take them off, and there you go. My hood is being held up in an extremely scientific manner by another extra jack handle that I have. There. Right there. That's it. But we're not here to find out all the sorts of different ways that you can keep your hood open during diagnostic work. We're here to do diagnostic work. Alright, so let's do a little bit of a what's what. So my task today is to do another round of compression checks. I'm going to disable the fuel system, then we're going to check each cylinder individually, and I'm also going to stick a camera into them just to see what they look like. Maybe something has gone wrong with the lubrication system. Maybe a part has disintegrated and made its way into the cylinder and just destroyed the cylinder walls, which would lead to a lack of compression. To get an accurate compression reading, you have to warm the engine up. I guess you'll see what I mean when I say it runs very poorly. So there are 2 doors here, and I didn't unlock this one. And I can't get through because Faff is in the way. So Faff is going to have to get out. Oh look, you're on your bullshit. Okay. This is like when you bring your car to the mechanic, and you say, hey mechanic, I have an issue. And then he says, all right, yeah, let's go take a look. And then the issue is gone, except I'm the guy who's supposed to fix this. And it's still doing it, just not as bad as it was. If you didn't know any better, you would say that this was a fine idle, except that I smell that it's running badly. And it's going to start missing soon, which could still mean anything. So we'll find out. Listen to this. Alright, I don't know what the hell that was. So I was standing right there and I was waiting for the engine to heat up, and I heard it clicking, almost like a relay. But what relay would be clicking continuously while the engine is idling? So at first I thought maybe it was the idle air control valve. I don't know, maybe the valve was opening and shutting, but it was over here. And the only thing over here is, of course, the Vanos. But I've never heard the Vanos make that noise. So if you're out there and you know what that is, please tell me. It wasn't the Vanos unit itself. It was under the valve cover. It was like right here. I don't know, maybe we have a broken guide or something, but the only way to find out if the timing guide is okay is by taking off the valve cover. But we'll get there. First, I want to do a compression check like we were going to. So let's disable the fuel system. Fuse number 47. All right, fuel pump is out. All right, fuel pump is disabled. You can tell because the car is no longer running. Let's get to work. Disconnect the ignition coil. Remove the ignition coil. Put it in a safe place. How about right there? Take our spark plug socket. It is the right one. Very good. I mean, it doesn't look great, but it's fine. All right. Now we take our compressione testere. Put our adaptore. Install it into the spark plug hole. Attach the compression tester. There, you can see that, right? That's probably gonna move, but yeah, let's do it. Cylinder 1. Woof. Let's try that again. That can't be right. Wait, there's a magnet there. God damn it. All right, so there was a magnet on the lamp, so while I know that that's grasping at straws, I'm gonna just try it one last time. Yep, cylinder 1 is bad. That's great. Of course, that sounded different because cylinder 1 no longer has a spark plug. Jesus Christ. So let's recap. Cylinder 1, 101 psi. 2, 105 psi. 3, 110 psi. 4, 121 psi. 5 and 6 both came in at the same reading, which was 120 psi. The standard compression numbers for an engine like the M54B30 should be somewhere around 160 to 180 psi. So not only is this engine very tired, honestly, probably bad rings, but it's also leaking compression from somewhere, whether that's a bad valve, whether that's a blown head gasket, who knows. But this engine in its current state is toast. So realistically, what this means is that this engine is coming out. And whether or not it's going back in is a question of how f***ed it is. If it's a matter of it requires a new head, okay, I can source a new head. That's not that big of a deal. But if I tear it down and I see that the rings are bad or that we have issues with the bearings, well, I guess it'll be a coffee table. Obviously, I want to keep this X5 going, and it would be really cool if it was with the original engine, but as I just demonstrated here and as I've been witnessing for the last few months, I don't think this engine wants to live anymore. And I think that it's finally asking for mercy. So with those sad news in mind, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the cylinder walls with a borescope. But to make sure that I don't miss anything, I have to remove this fan and this shroud so that I can rotate the engine to get the pistons all the way down so that we can see as much of the cylinder walls as possible. And so we have to use my favorite tool. That's not good. There's no way you can see this, but I'll post a picture. There's some major heat damage here. I mean, I think that at some point this ran very lean. Oh, wow. Same story here. Major damage. I mean, oh, that one's needs to go down. Same story. I don't need to see anymore. So I think that the evidence is pretty clear. I looked at the first 3 cylinders. They are in awful condition, which means that this engine is dead. And it's not something that I'm going to fix. Theoretically, I'd have to check. I don't know if these have steel sleeves. But if they do have steel sleeves, you could probably hone the steel sleeves. I don't know. I don't think that they have the... I think they're fully Alusil, just like every other modern BMW engine. So, this engine is coming out, and it will be honored in some way, but yeah, guess what just became a tremendously sized project that I didn't really expect or need. What I need to do now is I need to source another M54 or maybe an M52. A lot of people have been telling me to swap in an M52 B28 instead of an M54. The reigning logic is that it's an iron block engine rather than an aluminum block, and it's more robust. But it's not like this car with the 3-liter is particularly fast anyway. I don't know that I really want to make it even slower. But a slow X5 is better than an X5 that doesn't drive. So I guess leave your opinion about that in the comments. Should I put another M54 B30 into it? Should I look into an M52 B28? Should I completely lose my mind and put something in, like an M57 or an S54? I don't have enough money to put an S54. Please, please don't tell me to do that. One of my long-term goals for this car was to save up enough money to buy the European diesel M57 with the technical update, which makes like 210 horsepower, which is roughly what the M54 makes, but it makes a tremendous amount of torque. And since this car was primarily used for towing other things, torque is really beneficial for such a thing. Of course, you could also put a V8 in here, but I have one V8, it's enough. The other complication with a V8, of course, is that V8s only came with automatics, and there is no transmission that BMW made that would support a BMW V8 engine and all-wheel drive. This is a huge shame because I've spent so much time working on this. So, I know you're probably going to be wondering, as am I, if the compression numbers are so low, how did it pass the compression test and the leak down test that I performed last year? And the answer to that is I have no idea. I mean, I did the compression test myself, and I outsourced the leak down test. Maybe something has changed in the interim. Or, I don't know. Whatever the case is, this car passed those tests before, and now it has failed them miserably. Anyway, I think this is probably the shortest Skelly's Garage episode that features a car, and it's not just me talking or doing other stuff with the garage, but thank you very much for watching. I'm very happy that you're here. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe. Make sure to follow the Instagram for fun updates like this one. And of course, a great big thanks to these names who are supporting this channel on Patreon. Their support is one of the things that makes this channel possible, and I owe them a great deal of gratitude. And with that, dear viewer, thank you, and good night. We'll see you on the next one.